Hey, I don't know why it just popped in my head because Ricky's not a leg slapper.
No, he's not.
Uh, I watched that Chris Adams.
Dark Side of the
Uh,
Ring.
yeah, and it just reminded me again of what a miserable prick that Chris Adams could be.
Okay. Wow. All
Well, I
right.
mean, if you make a habit, Conrad, of beating women, how do you condone that?
Right.
And how do you justify, well, he had a bad night. Well, he had too much to drink. Well, what? Well, what? There's no excuse. There's no reason unless you're simply defending yourself. And if you're defending yourself, you restrain, you don't go into offense. And, but I don't know, man. He was a bad dude. Was he talented? Oh, hell yeah. He left a lot of great matches on the ground, so to speak. He was a star, big star. And got that nice rub from the Sportatorium and the Von Erichs and all that good stuff. And he became a babyface in a territory, a successful babyface in a territory that already had at least three babyfaces deep, and Kevin Carey and David. So, pardon me. I, uh, I, I just believe that those guys were special, and I'm wandering. But I can't wander. I am the wanderer. Da 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 da. Go ahead.
I don't know. It tickled me that, thinking about Ricky Steamboat somehow made you think about leg slapping, and that got us to Chris
Yeah,
Adams.
yeah. Steamboat was not a leg slapper,
No.
and right now, overall in business, if you made a point, no matter what show you watch on television, uh, you'll and you just that's what you want to focus on for that show. DVR it, watch it back in regular time, or watch it in regular time, then go back and watch the leg slaps. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the leg slaps, other than they're overused, and that's not unlike any other uh, move.
Fair.
Just don't do it to death. You're killing me. So that was like we talked about at WrestleMania. The poor Uso brothers had to. Somebody gave them the wrong advice because it's all about. Uh, Watch told me this one time, and it makes a lot of sense. You stop and think about it. If you got to hit somebody with the same move multiple times without beating them, then the goal is that the guy that's getting kicked is tough. He's resilient.
Right.
Uh, he's weathering the proverbial storm. But man, oh man, it's endlessly. So then all of a sudden it becomes overexposed, and you get that vaccine for it. It doesn't compel me anymore. I liked it when it first happened, and I didn't realize that Chris Adams was one of the first guys to ever do it. He may have been the first guy to ever do it. Hell, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's the first guy.
So that's good. But here's what it's led to. On that Harley race documentary, they were talking about Mick Foley did a nice job of outlining Harley moves. You know, so that story of Harley. What's your finish?
I'll move.
I'll move.
Yeah.
So, Harley's a good dude, man. He'd have been great back in the Wild West. I don't know how long he'd have lasted, because he wasn't even afraid of bullets. That's a very dude, man. When you're not afraid of bullets. So anyway, I think that leg slapping is a deterrent if it's overused, not unlike any other wrestling move or wrestling, um, maneuver. Vince would say, "What a maneuver!"
So in his first year in WCW, Dustin becomes a tag team champion with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and they lose those titles on January 16th back to the Dangerous Alliance members, Bobby Eaton and Arn Anderson. Man, talk about learning from the best. Take a look at who Dustin's working with here. His tag team partner is Ricky Steamboat. His opponents are Bobby Eaton and Arn Anderson, managed by Paul Heyman. You want to talk about having a lot of talent surrounding you to help bring you along. Goodness gracious. He couldn't have been in better hands there, could he?
No, it looks like an all-star team there on that cover. Everybody brought something different, and and just about everybody on that cover had ended up having a long career.
Of course, we're looking at Sting's team from Wrestle War 1992. We had to have a faction to go head to head with the Dangerous Alliance. 92, by and large, was a down year for the business across the board, whether it was WWF or WCW. But that Wrestle War, that War Games from 1992, my goodness, what a crew. And Dave Silva just had the cover of the WCW magazine up there showing us Sting's team there with Nikita Koloff and Ricky Steamboat and Barry Windham. And what a crew. I should also mention that your pal Steve Austin, man, he had quite a series of matches here with Dustin Rhodes early in his career. Of course, these guys got started not too far apart. I think Austin may have been in just a hair sooner than Dustin was, but you could just tell these guys are the future of the business. Could you know it?
Oh yeah, they were farther ahead than just about anybody I can think of as far as understanding the fundamentals of pro wrestling and what you had to do within those boundaries to be successful. Again, as the old cliche, worn out, they got it, and they just had different styles, and but both of them had strong work ethics. But Austin will credit a lot of the stuff in WCW to his success because he got to work with a guy like Ricky Steamboat a lot, and you can't replicate that. You can't do anything about that in front of a live audience that bought a ticket, spent some money. That's your focus group, and those guys understood that, and so and I knew both were going to be great. I just didn't know until I saw more of Austin. He was a clear-cut choice of being the next greatest if all the elements came together, like no injuries. When you say that, people say, "Oh, it's about a booking deal," or "He had heat." He had heat. Jesus Christ Almighty! Oh, we just talk carny on all these shows. Uh, Same difference. So, uh, but both those guys are the WCW's issues back in those days, Conrad. At least in my opinion, I don't know what your thoughts are. Wasn't talent.
Right.
I mean, that cover of that magazine, that Bull Show that you can see on YouTube, there it is. Look at all those young faces.
Those are just the baby faces. That's not even the heel side. I mean, that's a loaded roster.
And it's out of one match.
Yes.
It's baby faces out of the War Games, the main event. And all those guys had, all those guys had brought something special to the table.